Hi everyone. How are you? Welcome to the High Fitness by Weakness channel. Today I'm gonna show you 10 foods to avoid or limit on a low-carb diet. So stay tuned guys, because in a moment, you will receive a quick dose of incredibly useful knowledge. A low-carb diet can help you lose weight and control diabetes and other conditions. Some high-carb foods obviously need to be avoided, such as sugar-sweetened beverages, cake, and candy. Yet, figuring out which staple foods to limit is more challenging. Some of these foods are even relatively healthy, just unsuitable for a low-carb diet due to their high number of carbs. Your total daily carb target determines whether you need to limit some of these foods or avoid them altogether. Low-carb diets typically contain 20 to 100 grams of carbs per day, based on personal tolerance. Here are 10 foods to avoid or limit on a low-carb diet. 1. Bread and grains. Bread is a staple food in many cultures. It comes in various forms, including loaves, rolls, bagels, and flatbreads, such as tortillas. However, all of these are high in carbs. This is true for whole grain varieties as well as those made from refined flour. Most grains, including rice, wheat, and oats, are also high in carbs and need to be limited or avoided on a low-carb diet. 2. Some fruit. A high intake of fruits and vegetables has consistently been linked to a lower risk of cancer and heart disease. However, many fruits are high in carbs and may not be suitable for low-carb diets. A typical serving of fruit is 1 cup, 120 grams, or 1 small piece. For instance, a small apple contains 21 grams of carbs, 4 of which come from fiber. On a very low-carb diet, it's probably a good idea to avoid some fruits, especially sweet and dried fruits, which have high carb counts like banana, raisins, dates or mango. 3. Starchy vegetables. Most diets allow an unlimited intake of low-starch vegetables. Many vegetables are very high in fiber, which can aid weight loss and blood sugar control. However, some high-starch vegetables contain more digestible carbs than fiber and should be limited on a low-carb diet. What's more, if you're following a very low-carb diet, your best choice is to avoid these starchy vegetables like corn, potato, sweet potato or cooked beets. 4. Pasta. Pasta is a versatile and inexpensive staple but very high in carbs. 1 cup, 250 grams, of cooked pasta contains 43 grams of carbs, only 3 of which are fiber. The same amount of whole wheat pasta is only a slightly better option at 37 grams of carbs, including 6 grams of fiber. On a low-carb diet, eating spaghetti or other types of pasta isn't a good idea unless you consume a very small portion, which isn't realistic for most people. 5. Honey or sugar in any form. You're probably well aware that foods high in sugar, such as cookies, candy, and cake, are off limits on a low-carb diet. However, you may not realize that natural forms of sugar can have as many carbs as white sugar. In fact, many of them are even higher in carbs when measured in tablespoons. To sweeten foods or beverages without adding carbs, choose a healthy sweetener instead. 6. Beer. Alcohol can be enjoyed in moderation on a low-carb diet. In fact, dry wine has very few carbs and hard liquor none. However, beer is fairly high in carbs. A 12-ounce, 356 milliliter can of beer packs 13 grams of carbs, on average. Even light beer contains 6 grams per can. What's more, studies suggest that liquid carbs tend to promote weight gain more than carbs from solid food. That's because liquid carbs aren't as filling as solid food and don't seem to diminish your appetite nearly as much. 7. Sweetened yogurt. Yogurt is a tasty, versatile food. Although plain yogurt is fairly low in carbs, many people tend to eat fruit-flavored, sweetened low-fat or non-fat yogurt. Sweetened yogurt often contains as many carbs as a dessert. 1 cup, 245 grams, of non-fat sweetened fruit yogurt can have up to 47 grams of carbs, which is even higher than a comparable serving of ice cream. However, choosing a 1/2 cup, 123 grams, of plain Greek yogurt topped with 1/2 cup, 50 grams, of blackberries or raspberries will keep digestible carbs under 10 grams. 8. Juice. Juice is one of the worst beverages you can drink on a low-carb diet. Although it provides some nutrients, fruit juice is very high in fast-digesting carbs that cause your blood sugar to increase rapidly. For instance, 12 ounces, 355 milliliters, of apple juice harbors 48 grams of carbs. This is even more than soda, which is 39 grams. Grape juice provides a whopping 60 grams of carbs per 12-ounce, 355 milliliter, serving. Even though vegetable juice doesn't contain nearly as many carbs as its fruit counterparts, a 12-ounce, 355 milliliter, serving still has 16 grams of carbs, only 2 of which come from fiber. 9. Chips and crackers. Chips and crackers are popular snack foods, but their carbs can add up quickly. 1 ounce, 28 grams, of tortilla chips contains 18 grams of carbs, only 1 of which is fiber. This is about 10 to 15 average-sized chips. Crackers vary in carb content depending on processing. However, even whole wheat crackers contain about 19 grams of carbs per 1 ounce, 28 grams, including 3 grams of fiber. 10. Milk. Milk is an excellent source of several nutrients, including calcium, potassium, and several B vitamins. However, it's also fairly high in carbs. Whole milk offers the same 12 to 13 grams of carbs per 8 ounces, 240 milliliters, as low-fat and fat-free varieties. If you're only using a tablespoon or 2, 15 to 30 milliliters, in coffee once a day, you may be able to include small amounts of milk in your low-carb diet. Still, cream or half and half are better options if you consume coffee more frequently, since these contain minimal carbs. If you enjoy drinking milk by the glass or use it to make lattes or smoothies, consider trying unsweetened almond or coconut milk instead. When following a low-carb diet, it's important to choose foods that are highly nutritious but low in carbs. Some foods should be minimized while others avoided altogether. Your choices depend in part on your personal carb tolerance. In the meantime, focus on eating a variety of healthy foods. And that's it for today. Now you know what foods you should avoid on a low-carb diet. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and if you are looking for something that can really help you lose weight, please check the link in description. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and click the notification bell to receive new powerful videos. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and leave a comment below. Have a great day and see you in the next video.